let them say ya. Come on, let them say ya. That in my business, you catching fever. Getting serious like empty river. Ain't no stopping by the river. And as we coming, we sweeping, we cutting, we moving all the way. Yeah. We coming, yeah. We be coming. As we coming, we sweeping, we coming. And then when we meet obstacles, we be coming. Yeah, you come man, yeah. We coming. We better be coming. When the year is been checking you again, cause you go a we coming. We better be coming. We coming.
Well, let me say welcome to this very special edition of the program tonight, the Bottom Line. And like we said previously on Tuesday, that we're going to have a special edition of the program. The program should have actually come on tomorrow, Friday, but this is a special edition. We may or may not, we're not too sure, may not have the program tomorrow. So we've decided to do it tonight, but a very special edition. Paul, do you hear me? Let me say welcome to you.
I can hear you loud and clear. Good evening, Linford. How are you, sir?
I'm great, and thank God that we are here tonight. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. It's good to be back here for this special edition of Bottom Line, and I'm good. I just feel good today. I woke up this morning and I felt terrific. So it's good to be back here.
Good. And you know, I don't know. For some reason, I've been considering today like Saturday. I don't know, for some very strange reason.
Right.
Even forgetting that tomorrow is Saturday because but weather-wise, it's been raining here today. This is the first time it's a mixed rain and snow, so that's a very bad kind of weather because it's very cool. It's not rain, it's snow and rain mixed together, but it helps to melt the snow here. So we are moving gradually towards the spring. And
Yeah.
how is the UK?
The UK is good. We had a very nice sunny day today, although rain was popping in and out. So yeah, it is good. Yeah.
Okay.
So so
Like we said, this is our special edition of the program. We expect no guest, and our guest is going to be here pretty soon. And when the guest comes, he will introduce himself, and he's not no stranger to the internet. You will get to know him for those of you who follow the internet. And Paul, we should be broadcasting simultaneously. I don't know if you're on the radio.
yeah, we are hit. We are
Okay.
hitting the radio in a minute. So
Yeah,
it's
while Paul prepares the radio, let me just let you know that the Bottom Line is going to go big time. There are plans on the way. We are making plans, and the Bottom Line is going to go even beyond the elections. So, for those of you who usually watch us, we like to say thank you for spending your time with us. All you have to do is make this place your home, share the life all the time, and mark the dates that will come on for now, because like we said, when we begin to go full blast, we're going to be going like maybe the whole week. But all of these things take proper planning, and that's why we do not want to rush. We take our own time to go through the process, and we know it will happen. Where there's a way, there's a power, and there is possibility for things to happen. And so, welcome tonight to this very special edition of the Bottom Line Liberia. This is the place where we do discuss the issue. We give our opinions. We disagree. with each other. We even disagree sometimes with our guests, which is the right thing to do because we are not programmed. We are not like robots that if you say this, yeah, we accept it. No, that's why we have our individual
We're not programmed.
analytical power, and that's why we decipher the information. When you pass information to us, we assess it, we look at it, we take the good and the bad out according to how we understand it. But again, like I always say, our opinions in the same vein may not be right, but they are not wrong either because that's what we feel. That's our personal opinion. And that's not the public's opinion. That's our personal opinion, and we put it out there to the public. And I know if we have 100 people listening to us or watching us, and I make my opinion, I know out of the 100, maybe 5 or 6 will agree with my opinion. So that's why it's very important sometimes to give your opinions on an issue as we discuss. And so, Mini Paul is going to be read with me, and we expect our guest to pop in anytime when he comes. We're going to be bringing him on. And tonight, we're going to be discussing a wide range of issues. And some of the things we'll be talking about, just to, acquaint you, we'll be talking about the involvement of our guests in the ANC and its work uh, in the diaspora and also in Liberia. And we will also be looking at this call for opposition unity. And this thing is making headline, and in Liberia, interesting things, there are a lot of interesting things that happen in Liberia, things that are of no essence make more headlines in Liberia than major issues. We've been having people being killed, bodies formed everywhere. Nobody will make any big noise about it. But trivial thing like something they call opposition unity that they know will not happen, they make big issues out of it. And if it happens, then fine. But in life you have to look at your chances. If you know that you walk on the car road, the car will hit you and you may die. So the chances of survival is 1% out of 100%. So the chances of being killed by the car, being hit by the car and dying is 99%. So you don't want to take a chance, But again, we in Liberia will do it, and this is who we are and what we do. So tonight we'll be looking at the call for opposition unity, and we'll be discussing it, getting the view of our guest who's expected to be here soon. And we'll also look at the chances. And everything that we'll be discussing tonight will be questioning our guest, and he will be giving us his opinions, his thinkings about it. He'll be telling us about the chances. The reason why we'll be focusing on the unity on the CPP is that he is a staunch CPP ANC member. That's why we're going to be focusing on. And then we'll look at the chances of the ANC generally in the coming presidential and general elections slated for October 10, 2023, 6 months away from now. What are the chances of the CPP stroke ANC with or without what people call the opposition unity? So those are the things that we'll be looking at tonight. And there are also several topics as the discussions progress. There will be things coming up, and we will explore every avenue to make sure that we can discuss the issues tonight. So, if you get joining us, we say this is the bottom line. Thank you for joining us. My name is Linford Goe, along with Paul Chirope. We're going to be here to bring you the information with our guests. But in the meantime, we're going to take an interlude of music while we do share the video, because we will give you our audience, we'll give you the opportunity to join us and to settle down. And then at the same time, you can share the video to your various contacts because most of us have the same friends. So when I share, your friend will see it because you and I are friends. But then at some given instances, we also have different friends. So you can share the video, and we will also welcome most of our participants. And let's say welcome to Chadelia Brian Chilople. She's one of our regular listeners here. So we're going to go into an interlude of music while we share the video. And when we come back, we'll be going right into business.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber. Stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. Y'all gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to beat? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the corrupt. I said no one to trust. My people don't want to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So, why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much.
Well. The people lied to us, they betrayed us, and what can we do? In these instances, we are always the poor victims. When I mean we talk about we the citizens, we the ordinary people, we the voters. We are always the poor victims and helpless victims at that rate, because what can we do? But there is a chance, and the chance that we have, or the power that we have, is what? Our vote. That one single small piece of paper that a breeze can blow and it's gone. But it's very heavy, because that determines who will give the power to for the next 6 years or even 12 years, like Unity Party have. That little piece of paper you see is heavier than elephant. It's heavier than, I don't know what's the most heavier thing. Maybe mercury. Mercury is the heaviest element. But I will tell you that you have the power. You, the citizens, you are always the victims in the instance that you vote them and they turn their backs on you. You are the victim. But then you could be the victor if you know your rightful places. Paul, tonight we'll be discussing this opposition. I mean, we've been talking about this thing for the past week or so, and people are still pushing it. But it's taking a new dimension where the people are even visiting party headquarters, and what's behind this thing? What is the motive? Tell me. Talk to me.
Well, first of all, I will say good evening to our audience, and it's good to be back on Bottom Line for this special edition. And we'll kindly ask them to share the show to their various groups. And also, we are aired on the radio, we're online radio. We also, you can find on mind tuning, If you can get us on Twitter and Instagram as well. See, back to what you just said, opposition unity. My brother, there's nothing as opposition unity, but this propaganda is being ran by Unity Party. They've been running with the propaganda, and it have come to the point now where they're using my former senator of Maryland Council, Senator John Balu, to run to use him in this manner to go around propagating for this unity. If they want opposition unity, there was CPP. What happened to the CPP? While the Unity Party, the ALP, All Liberian Party, and half of the Liberty Party decided to take Mr. Cummings to court and walk away from the CPP. If they needed that unity, why? So it's not about unity, it's to confuse the public. Because this carrying the thing say is what the people think. Who are the people? Unity Party is that Liberians? They are part Liberians. So why is a Taiwan Gongo Party cannot run with that story? It's only coming from the Unity Party. And from looking at it from another perspective, this whole thing about, I think Unity Party, they have not done with Mr. Cummings yet. They want to pin him down that this man here does not want unity in Liberia, just what they did with him with the CPP framework. So looking at it from that angle, that's what they're doing. They want to pin Mr. Cummings to the public that this man is just a bad man, he's greedy, he just wants power. He don't want to unite with anyone. But we will dive into that later on. The response from Musa ability and all that, we'll look at it. So that's my take on it for the time being.
Okay, if I should just give my take while we wait for our guest, I think, like you said, it's a trap to entangle Mr. Cummings for the first time, and I've always said it, but it doesn't seem to the public to be like that. You see, like I said, Liberian people, we so some kind of way. The easiest thing, the most important things that should be driving our egos, they don't even have any effect on us. But the most trivial things that are not even possible, things that we know will not be done, is what we waste our time on. Can you imagine that the same Liberian people, at least I'm happy that we are not saying Guineans or Sierra Leoneans or Nigerians, meaning that they did not come from outside. They were right in Liberia when Mr. Cummings was being dragged to court. And in fact, on every radio station that you listen to, including the Wild Mouth Costa radio program, the same Liberian people were calling, oh yeah, let the UP withdraw. We will not go. In fact, we can't come in so funeral, let the UP withdraw. Liberty Party gone, ALP gone because ALP was the first to go. ALP gone, so let the UP withdraw and let Liberty Party withdraw. And Musa ability was strong enough to keep the Liberty Party in the CPP. And it's same people today that are coming, they talk one side of their mouth and laugh one side of their mouth. The same people coming today to call for opposition unity. But no, let me give this one to Senator Balu. That during that case, he stood up. He did condemn it. But again, yeah, somebody will be tempted to ask whether he did it in good faith or whether he was, and of course, nobody can judge how somebody thinks, until your action tells us. We judge actions, we don't judge thoughts, like what this person is thinking. So this is the most difficult part of human being. And I think psychologists have been trying to do that, to judge how I think or what makes me to think what I think, or but it's difficult to arrive at concrete conclusion unless if I go and do something physically where you see physical evidence and you can judge me by that. So when Senator Paul, you come in, when Senator Balu condemned the attack on Mr. Cummings at that time, Nobody knows whether he did it out of good faith, but it's the same Senator Balu coming up and calling for opposition unity. And so somebody will say, okay, he's still acting in a good faith that he started a long time ago. But yeah. Mhm.
Linford, you cannot start something asking for unity and you already made a decision how that
How the
union
unity
should
should
work,
be.
how that union should work. Then mean you're not asking for that union because you can't say there must be a united opposition, but you already drew off who should head the ticket, who should come second, who should be secretary. You already laid the groundwork. It's not unity that these guys are looking for. I mean, let's be honest here. The reason why I say don't pitch him as this person, he's on a mission. And that mission could be coming from the inner circle of the Unity Party. Now, why am I saying this? Unity Party have strong advocates that
Mm.
can propagate this message if they want. What happened to the Henry Costa who became their mouthpiece in recent time? What happened to Senator Darius DeLon that traveled from radio station to radio station? He also a mouthpiece with them. What happened to Yomni Kaga Lawrence? What happened to George Lobo? These are all people, Stephen Johnson, they're all of them. They're all on this platform. Why is this John Balu that worked with Boyka in the Senate? That one of those people, you remember Ellington, people that were getting brown envelope that they got rid of, that one of them there. I mean, the senator, I know him there many times. But where are the mouthpiece that were calling for the CPB to break up? The very mouthpiece can go back and say, look, Omer Baka, we made a mistake. Let come back together. Why are they not talking? And this guy keep going and say, this is what Liberian people want. Who are the Liberians? Handful of unity partisans?
But again, like I said, we're going to have a guest on the show tonight and we'll be discussing. We're still waiting for him, but we just giving our own opinions on the issues as we see it. Again, the question is when they talk about opposition unity, I'm not seeing similar action with other parties. You got Councillor Tawan Gonglo, who
Exactly.
is not a small potato in
It's
this
the dark
race.
horse. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Why about
Yeah.
him?
So if you counting the first three opposition parties,
Mhm.
you talking about UP, ANC, and or CPB and what and Tiawan and Councillor Gonglo, which is I think LPP, Liberal People's Party.
Mhm.
So you pick one person out of the whole bunch and make him to be the target and say, okay, and undoubtedly, all of the people that are taking part in a race, they all have followers, no matter
Yep.
how small the number is. But you pick one person, why can't they go to Councilor Gonglo and say, okay, come and be our running mate?
Because we want
Okay,
unity.
yeah, because we want unity.
Mhm.
Why you don't go to the other people that the CDC is taking? Because you are not being approaching it. That's why they are going to the CDC.
Mm.
CDC have received six, according to them, received six parties
Oh,
recently.
they always receiving
They
six. They
always
don't
receiving
receive
parties
small. Yes.
anyway.
Yeah.
Even me, I can find two, three people who go with a party. But the thing is, this opposition unity, I am thinking that it should have been broad based. It should have covered, it should have encompassed all of the opposition parties since the CPP, since they walk away from the CPP. But listen to me, Paul. Let me ask you one question. I mean, you've been following the political activities in Liberia, right? And since the UP broke away from the CPP, they said we had Larry Topa, who is one of the staunch supporters of GMB and the Unity Party. He was right here on this very platform, and he said when they break up in a couple of weeks, that is a word, they will be coming up with something big called Democratic Alliance of Liberia. Have you
That
heard of anything like that in recent times since they broke away?
well, since we had the last time we had uh the senior man on our platform here, Honorable Alari Toba, since that time, the just died. They just died. Because how come they died? The whole idea was somebody from their end should have been a running mate to Omen So I want to say old men people get upset about that my papi in Liberia, your papi is your papi. So
Yeah, in like bro can say, oh man, it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
even if I go to Liberia, you can say papi, where you are, me and papi. So somebody who older than me will say the old man anyway. I know some people get offended when I use the word old man. The papi was supposed to pick somebody from that alliance. It didn't happen. The news started coming that he going for Yomni Kanga Lauren, he going for Jeremiah Kuhn, he going for Henry Costa. So DAL decided to just kill themselves. So the organization died. And I think it had been buried in awe, and there was wakekeeping for that organization. So you wouldn't hear anything about it. You man said they have John CDC in their grave. So because everyone seems to drive to CDC where have the money. So you wouldn't hear anything about that anymore. That's why now they decided to propagate. Say ANC and the CPP is the fast growing political party in Liberia. Mr. Cummings now become the target for the UP and target for CDC. That's the two group, and he is the target for both because he is the one that's standing in the way. And that's all they keep going after him. Ome Boyka, I'm gonna say Ome, I keep forgetting. My
No,
papa,
no, I mean, when you say old man, I mean, it
yes,
doesn't
some people find,
physically
yeah,
describe his look, but I
yeah,
mean, as elderly
yeah.
people,
That's
yeah.
all because that's what we know. So he and Mr. Cummings been friendly for over 40 years. If he wanted Mr. Cummings to be his running mate, he will call him, my Peking. Come, let's sit down and talk. You interested in it? I'm interested in it too. Let's find solution to this situation. But it was the other way around. Mr. Cummings approached my papa. The papa refused. We know the answer that he gave. They refused to tell us that answer. But we know that Mr. Cummings approached him, said, please pick up my hand, saying you work over 50 years in government and I have the energy to change this country. I want you to lift up my hand and endorse me so we can take Liberia to a next level. He refused. So how come now the young man that went to you, he refused. You won't come to the young man, but you sending surrogates and making it look like the young man does not want unity. How does that work?
Yeah, but do you really think do you really think that these efforts by Senator Balu is commissioned by the former VP? I mean, just it's your
I
opinion. You may not be
It's
right
my
or wrong.
opinion, and I can see this from a distance, but that story will come out. Senator Balu and my papa, they were both in the Senate together. They worked together for long. They know each other well. Senator Balu will not just get out of the blue to put all his energy in this, moving from radio station to radio station, from platform to platform. There's nothing for nothing. Politics is interest. And that's how I see it from a distance. And this, my opinion, is I'm looking at it from an eagle eye. I see it from a distance. Remember, we have the thing in Liberia called tribalism. If Senator Balu want to be a tribalist, Cummings and he from the same county, let's put it blank. The other time we're on this program, I talked about Yeke Koluba, who joined the ANC. But because somebody from his county running, he decided to step aside. Say, I cannot run campaign against my uncle. Senator Balu is on a mission. And that mission, the secret will come out soon. It's on a mission. And that mission will explode. So that opposition unity will have, and they brought it out and thanks to Musa Berete, he said, well, we accepted, waiting to work with everybody. But we did ask the old man to step aside and take Mr. Cummings. He refused. So what he get to offer us, the call should come from my papa, not Senator Balu. If Mr. Barker make that call, when Mr. Cummings refused the call, then we have a situation here to discuss. But it cannot be unity partisan running with a thing. Oh, the Liberian people have spoken, they want opposition unity.
Okay, but again, there is something called shame face. Like Paul, I do something to you, and I know this thing I'm doing to Paul, my friend, is bad. Then I still go ahead. I always hear people say, "Oh, my other heart told me not to do it." Every human being get only one heart, but we get something called conscience, and our conscience is the best judge that we
That's
have
right.
because your conscience goes with you everywhere. You go to the court, the judge will judge you right there in the court. When you finish, all everybody go home, the judge will not follow you to where you go. But your conscience, you go lay down there, you wake up there, you sleep inside, stay there, and you'll be
Yeah.
talking to you, meditating, you doing that. So if you disobey your conscience and do the wrong thing, hmm, that's when people say, "Oh, my other heart told me not to do it, but my other heart." Everybody get one heart.
Yeah.
So, and when that conscience, when it grabs you, it will judge you. It will make you to look bad to yourself at times. That's why when you do good, your conscience will also praise you, and you feel proud. So then, if you do wrong, and your conscience judges you and tells you that it's wrong that you did, then that shame face comes to you, and then for you to remove that shame face and face the person, like I did bad to my friend Paul, and then for me to come back and say, "Hey, my man, they think I did it bad." There are very few people who can muster the courage to
That's
do
right.
that, but
Mhm.
others do not do. So, do you see anything like that happening here? Because we all know the role former VP Boaka played during the court case against Mr. Cummings. So it was in public glare, hmm, where he was standing with Councillor Cephas, and then Cephas, he was like, I think you have that video.
Mhm.
When our guest come, we'll play it, and then from there we'll start on. He just sent me a message that you'll soon be coming on. So, but what I'm saying is that there is something called shame face. So the fact that uh, an emissary or representative, an envoy, is talking on behalf of the UP or Mr. Boakai, it said that Mr. Boakai is shy of what happened, what transpired during the court case against Mr. Cummings, that he cannot come forth now to face him. So even if there will be opposition unity, how are they going to work? And before I ask that question, there is a post here. I hope I can still find it by Muna Fahad. Uh, I take disclaimer for calling her name, but I know she made a post, so I can't hide it. Yeah, I can't take glory for that. But Muna said, in Leto CPP collaboration, you accuse ABC, that's Alexander Benedict Cummings, of fraud. What will you accuse him of during a real government? We are not stupid. So, with all of these things playing, tell me, is there something that is blocking the VP from? Because I know if I want Paul to be my VP, I will select him. I
Mhm.
do expect Paul to come to me begging. Even if Paul
Exactly.
comes to me begging me, something will click to me. But why is Paul begging me? Why he's so desperate wants to be my VP? So is there anything playing here with the VP? What do you think?
No, we don't know what happening behind the scene. Maybe the VP has called Mr. Comey behind the scene and say, "Oh, sorry." Maybe
It could
we
be.
don't. We don't. We don't know. But you see, when he got ill, Mr. Cummings went to a house to
Mhm.
say sorry. And from what I listened to most ability, he was on Spoon yesterday. He said, I think some part of last week, the VP and Mr. Cummings had a conversation. So it could have been behind closed door. He said, sorry, look, I did wrong. We don't know. But they say when snake bite you for the first time, you will not sit down again for snake to bite you again.
Let's say, in fact, when you're walking, you see a small piece of rope laying down,
Which
you think that's
a
snake.
shake your jump. Now, Mr. Cummings was dressed to court for a purpose. They wanted to damage his political career, both Unity Party and a ruling establishment. And we all saw that. They said nothing. You remember the same court case, UP people, they came I would say, dump trucks.
Hmm.
When Mr. Cummings and Mrs. Cummings were leaving court, what they were calling him? Tiffy, Tiffy, roll, roll. You remember?
Mhm.
These are the very people now when they work under the CPP, thanks to the government that say when you join a susu, And this susu, if Linford eat your money and he decide to walk all of this susu, it means Linford can walk or he left in a limo. Since the government came up with that new thing that the Constitution of Liberia, when they walk out, they went Lofa County. What happened? The government planted agent that defeated them. You see? So when they defeated them, what happened? They came back now and started all of this little thing. Oh, they went for more stability. He was the one, the pay agent. But the one who took Mr. Cummings to court was not a pay agent. They ran with that story. Fast forward. After they got defeated heavily in Lofa County, they came out saying, look, and Mr. Cummings still going. He's still campaigning. People still coming to him. Majority of women that feel the pinch of the problem in Liberia seem to like Mr. Cummings. Now they realize again that we got 6 months to go. Let's create another confusion. And the other confusion, this is all political strategy. And let put Councillor Balu, Ambassador Balu up front to be the one to propagate this one. So the rest of these people must keep quiet. Let make the public think that this is what they want, that unity. So if they want the unity so desperately, how come you can't call Mr. Cummings and say, Mr. Cummings, hey, let me know. We made a mistake. Sorry for what we did publicly. Let's have a conversation. Let's spend 30 hours in a room and discuss the future of this country if we want that unity. Why that can happen? But we were told yesterday on Spoon from one of the new spokesperson of Unity Party, Eugene Fagon, said the VP have picked somebody and that train has left the station. So that thing Councillor Balu is doing is complete waste of time. It came from the new spokesperson for Unity Party. So they don't want opposition unity. The only thing they want is to now pin Mr. Cummings to be the bad guy again. So that's the first one they send that Kasawa need to send the Cummings first. This one, they finish sending both constructor to eat him up. So that is the plan. Look at it from the other angle what I'm speaking from. If they want to talk, Henry Costa, he got audience. He can propagate that message. Say, look, it's about time I will talk to Mr. Cummings. We apologize. Then come together. But why are they not doing it?
Oh, Paul, not cutting you off, while we await our guest. I know the public is anxious now to see who our guest is, but he will be here soon. But let me just give my own little, like we can say 2 cents, right?
Yeah.
I would have expected that by now the VP pick of the former VP would have been announced, because, like you said, I get confused about how things are running in the UP. One day you will see somebody from way ALP, Henry Costa, come and control the whole UP, control the VP. He take charge. Then there's nobody in the United Party. Then at one point, United Partisans will try to take charge of their own party, struggling to get it from other people. Then at some point, Nobly Kanga and her Liberty Party session will come and want to be in charge. She just posted something that she is focused on the rescue. Okay, no distraction will work. Something that I just paraphrasing. She posted about 30 minutes ago. And you see a lot of people going on there. So, and people are saying, oh, congratulations, Madam Senator, as VP. But we don't know what's going on. Then Henry Costa had to fly from America to come, and he even said he was giving all his senatorial bid if he was giving up just to support Joe Walker to win. And they want Joe Walker and UP. Why so many? Everybody, yeah. And the people who are volunteering to be the VP, but they can't go after them.
No.
But they'll come after
Mr. Cummings. So now you understand where I come from.
Who they abandoned a long time ago.
Exactly.
Who, number one, he's supposed to be Mr. Stranger, according to former VP JMB, that
Mhm.
Cummings is a stranger, they can't get in the country. One. Two, Cummings got only 7% in the vote. They even, and this is a man who came 6 months to the election. They even
Mhm.
forgot to know that other party, the Prince George, who have been running 3 or 4 times, he had 8%. They don't look at that. Then, everything is just for him. And the same Prince Johnson, who got 8%, Coming got 7%. After being in the race for all the year, he got 8%. That is same Prince Johnson, who they think can be a kingmaker for GMB. He bring when they got in Jeremiah Kun on board. I said to say no strong man in Nima. When they know,
Yeah.
I want Google to see Nima. I can tell anybody. Councilor Google, I saw a write up where in 1 weekend he visited 105 towns within Nima County,
So
105 different towns.
that's
Okay,
right.
towns,
Mhm.
huge town. So it's not that the men I just said it now. So it baffles me when I hear that. Oh, Jeremiah will just bundle all the people and how the country people can go on the farm, break the wool and bundle it and can deliver it in front of UP do. And Bwaka takes solace in that. Okay, so all the loud more people that making no Eugene Fangon with no relevance, no more, nobody can even trust him.
No, he's relevant now for the UP because he's the new spokesperson.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Mhm.
And the UP that he's speaking for now is supposed to be the political cartel that he destroyed. And the UP, they say if you don't cook yourself in an old cup, they will not dish you with Bavun steak. The
That's right.
UP, they have reduced themselves to anything, to desperate people. They're so desperate for the presidency. Costa said Joe Waka is what? A dead man walking. Joe
Absolutely.
Waka is a travelist. All he knows is travelism. Joe Waka is a dead man walking, and he can't support a dead man walking. Then he comes back to resurrect him, making
Yeah. And he want to be his running mate.
his running mate.
Mhm.
Okay. Then on the other side, the cartel killer, the cartel destroyer, after destroying you in 2017 election, then he comes back again. Now he becomes a new spokesman that he even knows that your train had left, how many passengers on board, that you
Yeah.
were even calling a conductor. So you make yourself a laughing stock. But our folks, our brothers and sisters in the UP, they don't know. And what something that I still have to catch up with in the UP is with all the educated, smart, young, vibrant, intelligent, educated, and whatever you may call them in the UP, why are they allowing themselves to be dragged all over the place in the mud with no I mean with no remorse or conscience? Because I mean, what's happening to the UP? I don't understand.
So there are two counts of UP, and
Tell
you
me about that.
how to be upfront with this. You have the Ellen Johnson UP and the Joseph Yuma Boyka UP. The
Mm,
Ellen Johnson UP, they are people that went some cross over to CDC and some today support Mr. Cummings. So you see the Mariah today who is Cummings
Chief of Staff.
Chief of Star, she from the UP. It's just to give you Joe Wisdom, on Team Cummings, he from the UP. These are all smart people. So if you look at the UP, Bryson Garfield came from UP, he went to CDC. He remember
Mm-hmm,
that?
mm-hmm.
My class, May Henry family, he came from the UP, going to CDC. So a lot of them divided themselves, the adding group, between CDC and ANC. That's where you find them, and they're very quiet. You remember Sekou Kone program? He said that, oh, Mr. Cummings, one of the shortlisted person was Gafon. So a Gafon to come from the UP, and he from, well, that is a bunny man. So they are quiet. Why are they quiet? Because they know the side they on. And these people are quiet. Majority of them are on the team Cummings side. Remember Louis Brown also? He from a different party, but he's a strong
From the
supporter.
APC, I mean, from the
The
NPC. I mean,
NPC. But he so it just tell you All the smart people you're talking about, they're there. They didn't go nowhere. They're talking. So the other people, the backup people now that have this tribal alliance, I will say, and I may say it with confidence because I know I even had an argument with one of them this evening before coming on the show. They are the one that pushing this thing about, oh, Liberian people want this unity. This man, my old man, he have not said how he will change the lives of Liberians. He have not said it. At least if you look at Taiwan is campaigning, say he gonna sweep, he using broom to sweep corruption. He's saying something. Mr. Comey I lay out his 5 pillar of how he'll transform Liberia. But the UP propagandists keep saying it have all been resolved. My old man will be the next president. If something resolved, then why go after somebody else to be your running mate? Your opponent.
The thing called desperation can come in different phases. To the point where these people will not believe that Ambassador Bwaka is entitled to this presidency. Then why he can't just go to George Weah and say, move from there, let me be? Because I think they should be going to President Weah and say, step down, let Bwaka be the president, instead of even campaigning. Because that will tie this presidency to this man. And none of them can build the courage to tell him, man, step down. You are old. I mean, your age, we are getting old. I'm going to be turning 60. So in June, I don't expect to call myself young boy anymore. So if I see a 30-year-old boy trying to do something, I will not compare myself with him. I will not fight him. Yeah? I will respect myself. But here is it. You got this old man who you should be looking up to. Stay fighting to be something that he ain't evil. But nobody can build the courage to say no, Papa, anything here different. But they will hide behind this man pushing. And like you said, I tend to agree with you. It's your personal opinion, but I tend to agree with you when you say there are two unity parties. I would tend to agree with you. Number one, I've always said, most of the people that were in the Ellen Johnson government, how many of them, I mean, no top boys, I call them boys, I'm sorry, but it's just word. No top people that were ministers, and how many of them you see running around here wanting to be? No, because they know. But they don't office boys or deputy ministers, assistant ministers who were around, who saw a loophole, how things can happen, they're the one that fighting very hard. You can't tell me the unity party is brain drain to the point where they got to be going around looking for vice president. Why are they looking for vice president? The first thing they boast of having number. So why would you want to come to somebody who does not have number? Come is a newcomer. I mean, according to them, and I mean exactly so. It's a newcomer on the political scene. Joe Bwaka have been there ever since. So if somebody should be looking for, I posted something just before the show started, when the rescuer is begging to be rescued. And they are under there causing me again. Yeah, but this is a scenario where they call him a rescuer, rescue one. But here's rescue one looking around. If you are here to rescue us, why you want somebody to rescue you? Why are you looking for the man you call stranger to come and rescue you?
That's right.
And I was on Monique Kitchen show just this evening, and I said something. I want to repeat that. If Mr. Cummings will lose in an election, let him go as well, Alexander B. Cummings on CPPTK and lose. Then everybody know, yeah, Cummings voted, he lost the election. But pairing Cummings with JMB, and they go eventually, God forbid, something happened. And then CDC win the election. You know what United Party people say? It's coming. He didn't have no more.
Yeah.
He have 7%. They are blaming Nukwe today. They say Nukwe was a bad pick. They can't look at JMB on record, but they look at Nukwe, they say Nukwe was a bad pick. So for me, I suggest the next time I meet Mr. Kumi face to face, I'll say, Mr. Kumi, or I don't want you to go. It means saying it. Go as coming when you lose, we say coming lose.
But
If you win, we say
oh,
coming win.
but
Simple.
Linfo, on
Yeah.
what ground somebody that came from retire, I mean, that left his, he came from retirement and said, look, God have blessed me so much, and I have the managerial skills, and I can transform my country, my birth country. You gave me the opportunity. Let the 5 million people, we don't know the exact number now, benefit from what I can do. And this is the way I'm going to transform Liberia. He gave 5 pillars of how he's going to transform Liberia. And he repeated over and over since 2016. He been saying the thing over and over and over. This is how I will transform Liberia. People say, okay, the man is so good, but he's new. So why? Because he knew why he came fourth place. And everyone in that election, 2017, they had Mr. Cummings as their second choice. If their first choice did not make it to the second round, he was their second choice, right? Because of his vision that he had, but they say he was too new. Fast forward, how long had Mr. Cummings ever left Liberia since 2017? He's still there. He's still been traveling. Now, and he keeps seeing the same thing. This is the vision for Liberia. This will take Liberia here. I can take Liberia budget from this little thing and make it bigger. He keeps seeing it. He have not changed. He consistent with what he have said. Now, the former vice president, they say, oh, he have 400 and so many
50.
thousand votes that they collected and put in the bank vault and lock it up. So when election kind of open that vault and the 4,000 will come out. So Mr. Cummings does not have the number, so he will stay at 7%, granted. And he's keep working, he keep moving, and he keep making a case to the people. If the Let's go to the tournament. If the people don't want me, I go to the Bahamas and enjoy my life with my family. But for opposition unity, Mr. Kwame could have gone on his own, but he joined the CPP. And a lot of ANC supporters were really angry with Mr. Cummings on that. He said, we cannot do it alone. He convinced his party to join the CPP. What happened? The same CPP went, said, oh, no, this man, he getting popular. They started labeling all kind of things. He fast and he knew he does not have the number. My papa have the number. They will do block voting. They will do this green voting, the blue voting, the yellow voting. That didn't work. What happened? They talking of court. They're talking of court. And my papa went to court, looked in his friend eyes, I do not know this man. Like how Judas betrayed Jesus Christ. Fast forward, Mr. Cummings decided, okay, I will not take Benina Euro to court for spoiling my name. I will let it go for the sake of Liberia. He decided to move on. He gained ground again. The same United Party people now start again. Say, oh, opposition unity, yeah, Cummings be number 2 to this man. On what ground?
Well, good question for on what ground. I think they need, what they need to do here is to clearly tell the Liberian people this is why we believe that Mr. Cummings will go to be vice president to Joseph Newman Bwaka, even if Bwaka has not requested him to do. We'll see our guests in the background, but let's recognize a couple of people. Mary Masako, our own Mary Masako, is not able to be on tonight, but she's one of the guest panelists here. Then we'll see Henry Winnie. He's our usual listener. Okay, Emmanuel Farflin. He's been pressing. Oh, where is your guest? Where is your guest? Emmanuel Farflin. I hope I know Faith Flynn or Farflin or one of them. But sorry, I mispronounced your name. But our guest is in the background. I guess he's listening to us. He's well seated, and I promise you, it's going to be fiery. It's going to be fiery because I know the guest. He's a good analyst. Politically, he talks well. He's eloquent, and he's hardworking. He's one of the young men that I see that I admire because I used to be like that. when I was growing up, I was a young man, hardworking, and I'm still hardworking. And so when I see hardworking young men, I admire them. So I think our guest is said, I see him smiling in the background. So let me bring him on, and he will be telling us who he is. Duke J is Estrada. You know, the first time I heard that word Estrada, it was Estrada Bernard. That's the name that I remember. Yeah, I think you need to unblock yourself because we're not hearing you.
Unmute.
Yeah. Okay, I think I hear you now. Try again. Yeah.
He will come back. You see.
Okay. Yeah, just unmute yourself. So let's see.
He will come back.
You'll be back. At least the people now, they know who the guest is. They have seen him. They know that at least our guest is coming. But and so Emmanuel, when thank you for coming and share the video. Emmanuel, Henry Winnie and Emmanuel Faflin, please share the video.
Let me make a quick announcement. For those of you who first time following us, please like our page, and then whenever we comes on, you'll be notified. Also, kindly share the show to your various chat room. It will be good to have you here. We also on the Bottom Line Radio, and you can find us on the PlayStation, where you can download our app.
Yeah, just go to the Google Play Store.
And
download the Bottom Line Radio.
Yeah. Mine Tony as well, so you can find we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're everywhere. So
and right now we're even on we're even on I call that YouTube right now. So
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So then you know, when we're talking, something came to my mind. You know, I challenge the Unity Party people to take this as a challenge. Say, no, listen, we don't want the CPP. We want to go on our own. I challenge them. I want to hear that announcement because they've been threatening. You know, what can get to me is these little ones, we so-called the sedition, which is satanic sedition, but the United Party, one of the what, they all over the place, attacking. And then at the same time, the rescue one is looking for rescue. He needs more rescue than anybody else. So don't you guys see it? But I
really like the Unity Party, to be honest with you. I like the energy they come with. They come with some serious energy. And while I'm saying this, and I really like Rescue too. And I'm praying. And
Rescue too.
A supporter of Rescue 2 to be the running mate to Rescue 1. I am a strong supporter because Linford, you said you just announced that you be 60 in few months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means we have the thing, as you get older, you give chance to the younger people. So send Rescue 1. Want somebody young, and the young people in Liberia, there are so many. You see, we got a very youthful population, so it'll be good to have Rescue 2 because he fit into that criteria. So I'm just praying that God answer my prayer. Yet Rescue 1 pick Rescue 2, so they can leave Mr. Cummings alone, and then they can all meet at the battleground. Whoever become the Goliath will win that day. And that's democracy. That's the beauty of democracy. And somebody making the case, yeah.
Me, when people, it's so interesting when people run ahead with information about something that they're not able to do. In fact, in general, country, I say, Paul, my mentor, buy airplane. I start building airport. I'm giving get money. My mom tell me that I'll buy. These people jump up. We live in the CPP. We go in. That Costa also made me really loud. And all the people are calling. I want to hear them calling now. Yes, we got to leave that CPP. DJ Lomel, I'll call on their name one by one. DJ Lomel, call away. Yeah. We got to leave. Noah, my friend Noah South Gibson, where are they? They'll call. I can't draw back. I'll call people name. Because that's why we call our name on the radio. I call my name. I call my name here. So everybody know tomorrow you can call my name, you can say it too.
So,
See?
but Linfa, the names you just call,
Mm.
every radio station, they sit and listen, and they are the first caller.
Yeah.
Those names, their own job is
It's
to
a call.
call. So that call, imagine. I remember my friend told me this story that in London here, when they first came to London, they were looking for a job, and this job they had, they went to the funeral home. Their own is to cry for people.
People
They
die.
were getting paid, yeah. So you know the person, you go and cry. This is the thing the guys doing in Liberia. Every station
They call.
they call. You see?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, at times we just got to put people on the spot. You see, because these are people who inflamed the entire situation we're in today.
Mhm.
We shouldn't be here at all. We should not be here.
I think the guest is in the background. Bring him on if you can.
Okay, let's see if we can get him again, and then the video is good. It's just the audio.
Yeah, I think the audio should be fine now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, listen, I'm so sorry. This is the worst day for me, right? And that's okay. My setup is in the house. I left the key, my house key, at that other location, 45 minutes away from me. So, but that's okay. You know, that's what we have to adjust, and that's okay. But I must apologize, and it's great to see Mr. Chulupu on here. You know, the man, since the man
Can you adjust
came
the
back,
camera small, dude, so we can see you?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, very good.
Since the man came back from Liberia, you know, he has been on fire. You know.
the man came. I mean, I told him when the man come, you know, normally when I talk to people from Liberia, they give me side news to give me my man, not easy to that place. In fact, somebody made me almost so cry. Say, my man, they want a big one. That one of our men say they want big. I say, why again? And you know, the time different. The guy was wearing that, man. You can't get it bad news. Say, my man, I heard the old man coming, and I didn't know, I had no clues. I heard the old man coming to Jeremiah. Then you know, then he started doing calculation. Now, he said, when you carry Jeremiah, Nima fini. Yeah, then you go look at Bapolo, all the places all the places gone. So you know, so I thought he talking about coming. So I said, hey man, but then now you so because now man can't keep on Liberia calling me man. So after I finished talking, he said good. I said, but yeah, the man will tell all the places. He said, no, that JMB are talking about I almost put my on my head. but the story started to change. Then we're walking now and Paul is on fire. But let's say welcome to you, Duke. Estrada Duke Jayjay. Like I was saying, the first time I heard the name Estrada, that was Estrada Bernard a long time ago.
Yeah.
So Estrada Duke Jayjay is one of the strong supporters of Mr. Cummings, I guess. But Estrada will tell us a little bit about himself, and then we'll get kicking right away. The people want to know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of politics.
Yes. You know, thanks to the listening audience. The Bottom Line is a very resourceful platform. You know, a lot of great information shared on here. Sometimes I'm at work, I'm listening. Don't mind me. I have, you know, other pages that I follow through as well, even I have the time to share it. But you guys are great people. I just want to acknowledge that. Please share the link. I will try to get on my main phone and share it too, so we make sure that people get to know the value of this platform. But a little bit of me. I'm a passionate Liberian. And before I really go into the extra stuff, from the time I began this arena, I don't start with education. I don't start with work, because I just want to make it simple and make people feel that, you know, you don't need all the, yeah. So pretty much, a couple of years ago, prior to 2017, I got involved into Liberian politics. Before, I was one of those people like, I don't want to be part of these people, to let them go ahead and put it out. But something changed, and I felt that, you know, look, all of us have had blessings to experience another man's country. And I think that it becomes purposeful when we are using the blessings that we've gotten to pour back into a country, right, that so desperately needs, right, all of the things that we've been blessed with. And so I decided that, you know, one of the ways to get involved is through grassroots activism and politics as well, in which I used to be involved with the Democratic Party. I used to train. I used to do field work and all of that stuff. And I felt there was a unique opportunity to use that skill set when it comes to Liberia. So my candidate of choice moving into the next election became Mr. Cummings. And so that's how I became involved with the ANC, mainly because of Mr. Cummings, because of the vision he shared. And I believe that, for all of the things that we see happening with Liberia, preferably the private sector and all of the other stuff, I think that he was the most qualified candidate. So I'm a passionate individual. I definitely love Liberia. There's no love lacking. I love young people and mentorship, mentoring young people as well. I am big on community as well. And my mom, actually in the Maryland area, was one of those people who came and make the most out of the opportunity and started a nonprofit organization that was able to bring thousands of immigrants from different countries, pay for the tickets and everything, and reunited with the family. That's how I started into this kind of helping and activism and the community service work as well. So overall, that's what I do, just passionate about Liberia. Professionally, I've worked in the finance investment industry as well. I consider myself a multidisciplinarian. I have a background in engineering, computational science and business, and I'm also a candidate. Pretty soon will be graduating with my MBA as well. So those are the things I do, and I just love Liberia, man. I believe that it's time for us to pour into our people.
Great.
I love Liberia. There's
Yes.
nowhere like home. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is where everybody is knotted together. That we all
Yes.
love Liberia, because I've never heard any of the people from all the other parties say I hate Liberia. We all love
Nope.
Liberia, and this is why we have to, put our ideas together to build Liberia. Now, but the question I want to start you off with is, what is your involvement with the CPP or ANC presently, both in the diaspora and in Liberia?
So post 2017, when I decided to get involved with Liberian politics, I felt that my gift was to be able to work within the youth space, right? I'm really good with young people. I'm really good with grassroots work. And I believe that looking at Liberian demographics, that for us to be able to change things, we have to focus on seeing how best we could run the campaign, through the youth space as well. So what do I do for the ANC? I'm one of those people, I like to call myself the Swiss Army knife. And so I do so many things. There's not a defined role for what I do, because I work in so many capacities, right? I can go from working communications. I can go from working on a strategic standpoint on the, advertisement or, there. But over the years, I have been working along with young people, and we've been actually, helping them to be impactful in terms of the communities as well. And so we started different grassroots chains across the country. We've been using gym as this outlet to be able to reach those hard to reach areas. And so that's what I do right now, making sure that we are making the most of our opportunities and trying to do all we can to be able to see this kind of fruitful result come the October elections.
And just before Paul comes in, because everything people do, it entails finances, especially working in Liberia, where we know the needs are enormous. How do you get financing? Are you financing your projects from your own pocket? Because the reason I'm asking this question is, anybody talking in Liberia, you say, no, please go call John for me. Let me talk to you on the phone. You say, I got to pay my will. So how are you coping with that?
Yeah. Look, when we started this thing, and first and foremost, thankfully, I have a lot of people behind me in terms of young people in the diaspora and young adults in the diaspora who believe that, the way in which we need to go. So we take our own monies and we pour it into that process. That's how we've been doing it. We've been taking our resources, we've been pouring it into that process. So about 90% of what we do has come from our own pockets. And it's not just a 1 year thing. This is from running on to the 2018 up to now. We take our own resources. It could be like, main chipping in 500 here, main puts in 250 here, 1,000 here and stuff. This other person paying 150 here and that, just to make sure that we are getting things done, and we're putting all of our time and resources into something we believe that's going to help Liberia as well. So for the most part, that's what we do. Now, I wouldn't be ungrateful to be thankful. Ungrateful enough not to recognize, a couple of people. And so we have people who have seen the work that we do, And so they have been involved, helping in whatever way that they can to help us make up in terms of, some of the work that we're doing as well. And so that's how we go about it, just making sure that all of us are putting our own money where our mouths are, but also people who buy into what we're doing are actually calling and helping and actually contributing to the efforts on ground as well.
That's
Great.
right.
Paul?
Well, Duke, it's
Yes,
good
sir.
to have you on the platform for the first time.
I'm telling you, man. I
Yeah.
wish it would have been ever since, but we're fine, man. I love it.
We are fine. We're great.
They say it's never too late for anything. So I know you're doing extremely well on the ground with the youth.
Yeah.
And this is the political season. We'll barely have 6 months to go.
Mm-hmm.
How is the ground with the youth?
Yeah.
Talk to us. How are they moving? Are they going towards the person that you really support? You carrying how? What's the momentum? Talk to us.
Yeah. Listen, one of the things that I've noticed before throughout this process that Mr. Cummings has got this kind of magnet when it comes to young people. And I believe that when it comes within the young people space, he has the most traction, right? In terms of when it in comparison to any other candidate that's actually in the race. That's been a blessing for us. We've had motivated young people. We've had young people who are just really fed up with everything that's going on, right? And they've actually expressed, their enthusiasm that, this is our moment and this is what we're going to do. Now, I wouldn't I wouldn't try to just layer up this with everything positive. There are areas of opportunities for us in that space. I think that there are things that we could do better to be able to bring up the excitements. But you know what? I am confident that we're going to get there because in the matter of days, we're going to make a major investment when it comes to, that particular space of young people. Right. And, there will be boots on the ground. And we will make sure that we're going to shake different areas and just get young people, excited about the coming strain as well. So we've done well. But there are areas of opportunity, and that's where the hard work comes in. And I'm sure that we're reaching to that point of making sure that we have at least, if not about 60-70% of young people our way.
Right, great. I mean, it sounds good because what happened, as you can see, a little bit darker when it comes from Liberia, you enjoy the best of everything, the sun, and then you come. So I was amazed. I was in the 72nd area, and group of young kids came to me and said, "Oh, they have formed their own team to support Mr. Cummings." Out of the blue, I said, "Wow, this is so." That alone. So we'll talk after this program. It's good to have all of these young people, but people are really feeding the problem there, and now they are thinking. So that's what I asked. What the momentum on the ground is something that we need to look at. So yes, fast forward. That within the youth, there are a lot of females that feel the problem. How is the female in your group? You guys bringing them on board or just male? Talk to us. Make a
So
comparison.
it's a multifaceted approach, right? So meaning that look, women definitely are a big part of this entire process. And so yes, you'd be amazed. Actually, the grassroots gym, the person who's in charge in Liberia is a young woman called Nancy Carter. Right. She's done a remarkable job, running the operations of our entire grassroots there as well. So she's done that. Women are definitely buying into the Cummings agenda, and that's why we've pushed for more following that team. That part of the team, Mr. Cummings, believe that there should be increased participation when it comes to women in the political space as well. So women are definitely exerting the time, the efforts. Actually, when doing the mobilization process a couple of months before voter registration kicked in, we had a lot of females that were actually leading those scout teams going into different districts and actually getting people out there to register the party and actually include them in our database as well. So yes, women, they're a pivotal part of what we're doing, and we continue to go after that particular group because we believe that they have what it takes for us to be able to win an election in Liberia.
Okay, great. I don't know if Poste has one.
No, before you can flow.
Okay, let me chime in right here, and we're gonna now that we know you're working hard and you got boots on the ground.
Yes,
and things are happening. But there is something happening here, which is very strange. A couple of months ago, almost a year ago, Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Cumming was Mr. Cumming was taken to court. They have something called a CPP, and we all know the story very well.
Yeah.
Mr. Cumming was taken to court, but the dynamic had changed, and I think the intent of that court case was to cast a dark cloud over Mr. Cummings' political ambition, so to speak. And that's my own personal view. Anybody can disagree with me. But the story seems to be changing, that the same people who walked away from the CPP, they are now blowing the horn for opposition unity to the point where they even sending emissaries. Okay, so I don't know what has changed from your own point of view, and if something has changed here, where do you stand? How do you look at it?
So listening, I've always said that, when it comes to the Unity Party, I think that they're good at starting problems, but they don't do a good job at paying attention to the conclusion of whatever problems they started. I know that for a fact because I worked for the Unity Party in 2017, and majority of what they were doing was all propaganda. That's what they do. And I recall that day, they had a lot of people, the Gloria Musa Scott, the Evan Melvin Snow, all of them in this kind of like chat room and stuff that, people were in disarray. And would you imagine that at the last minute, they didn't have any strategy though, but they had this belief that somebody was going to intervene and they were going to retain, power, right? I say this to say because I want to set the tone for what I'm about to say next. So when they started this thing, it was all about, okay, we're going to go ahead and put this thing out and sway public opinion against Mr. Cummings. But after you tried to do that, what's next? The what's next is where we are now. Now, in the beginning, they've done everything to this man. They were not successful. They managed to get themselves out of the CPP. He stayed in the CPP because he's a fast thinker, and he saw that the conclusion is going to take us exactly to where they were running from. So what's happening is the only thing that changed throughout this process would be the Unity Party and the ALP and those people who left the CPP. Mr. Cummings always been stagnant. That's why he left in the CPP and he built a brand that he believed was going to be in the interest of the Liberian people. But what I do believe, what I'm actually sensing is this: the Unity Party did not take into consideration the conclusion. And so because they did not take into consideration the conclusion, they're at the point where they're telling you exactly what they did before. We want everything. We want to be in control of everything, right? And so now, let Cummings come here and let's come back here and do it so we can control everybody. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because whatever happens, we're going to come to that conclusion. Joseph Boyka will still have to decide who's going to be a vice presidential running mate. When that happens, there's going to be trouble in that particular camp because there will be a bunch of dissatisfied people. You see what I'm saying? So there will still be the same thing that they ran away from. They're going to lose. But here's the good thing, though. Whatever happens on that end becomes a plausible, a positive for the collaborating political party. It is that unknown. It is that particular conclusion that they're afraid of. And now they're using people to sell themselves as if, you know what, though, I'm not all the party, I'm the party studying, but we think that we're going to do this in the interest of our people. No, they're not doing it in the interest of the Liberian people. They were doing it in their own interest because you know what? They figured that they're at this kind of, they've stalled, right? And there's this block between them and power. So it's all a play. It's all a political play. And one thing I will say before I let you to come in and stuff, I listened to this guy, Baloo, an ambassador's comment, and I laugh. And the reason why I laugh, because you can always sense what's going on. You see, there are people who are products or they were bred in this particular system of dysfunction, the system that we're trying to uproot. Some of them know that Mr. Cummings is a good man that can change things in that country. They know that, right? They're brilliant people. They're not stupid. They know that. But because they have lived in that system all along, They have created relationships in that system. They don't have the courage to walk away and look at the system and say, you know what, though? Look, we had a great ride, but this man should be the one. So to appease the system, but at the same time sell themselves as this intellectual power or somebody who's got reason and sees the value of Mr. Cummings, they say, you know what? Let's just play it safe with my people. Let all come together in the interest of the Liberian people. To me, that's an act of a coward. Only cowards do that. Okay? So this is the problem here. The conclusion is what the Unity Party did not take into consideration. And we're at that conclusion. And because they see potentially what could happen, or they have that fear for the unknown, this is why we hear all those things buzzing and all of the thing about Cummings here, or we're going to protest to make sure to submit a petition so the two people can go and stuff. Mr. Cummings is in a better position. He cannot trade the value he has now to go back to something that's not going to work. Or people who are subjective and think that they're entitled to leadership in our country, it's not going to work.
Okay, so what if the former VP will say, okay, I want to have a meeting one-on-one with Mr. Cummings and fulfill Mr. Cummings' wish, which he expressed to me a long time ago, that is to lift his hands. You think that could work also?
Yeah, so listen, I envision that potentially there could be a situation where the former VP will step away from the race. Mm-hmm. But we also have to keep a room. This is politics. We also have to just sit back and just play out every scenario. If you ask me, now let me say this. This former VP is just not a former VP. It's a family member to me. Close family member to me. Uncle Joe, very close family. All his children, very tight. But for me, I don't need a job in Liberia, but I have my values and I have my conscience. And if I would say that's the same way, you know, I've been kicked out of family chat groups before for saying the same thing. The old man needs to give it a rest. Look, in 2017, they were the incumbent. The Unity Party never had resources. They struggled. That's why he made the VP pick, thinking that money was going to come in. But Ellen was smart. She went and said, we're not passing no budget here for you to get money. I saw how they struggled hard to campaign in those areas. But in addition to, you know, the papi, I don't want to bring other people's, but I think that he is this kind of, he's this kind of like, how do I say without being offensive? He's this kind of like veteran person. Let me just put it that way. And the wear and tear that it takes through a rigid campaign season is not something that he can withstand. In addition, he's not going to be able to pull the kind of capital that's needed to run a campaign. So what you're doing is you're not bringing your best against a regime that needs all of those things. Mm-hmm. So I think at a certain point in time, Mr. Boyka will make that decision. And you know what, though? There's nothing wrong with talking. Don't refuse the request to talk. You can refuse what's in there. Right. Exactly. You know, go ahead and talk. But I will say this, and I'll make it clear to my ANC people, anybody. Mr. Cummings is not going to consider running under anybody. It's not going to happen in the first place because it is wrong. It defeats, and some of you listening well here, it defeats the very same reason why he decided to create real change, to go after the system. We're not here just because he wants to be president. He's doing it because he sees an opportunity to change that country in ways that we've never seen before. And we must not make amends in doing that, even if it means that people will disagree and go a different way. That is okay. But we will feel better knowing that we have done all we can with our integrity. That's what's important to me. And that's the way I see it.
Paul Muter.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
I like the way you lay it out. And I'm one of those that have been calling for my Uncle Joe to actually go into retirement. Because when you reach certain age, it's time you spend time with your children, your grandchildren, your great-grand, and have that time with them.
Yes.
Okay. Recent time I was in Liberia, and the momentum that the CPP is carrying, there's a lot of silent voters in Liberia. They don't talk. People even afraid to speak when they're in cap, because I was in the taxi, people are afraid to talk. But the moment you get out one-on-one, they will tell you Cummings is a good man. And I can say this for a fact. The places I travel, there's a lot of good things have been said. People even ask questions about him. The momentum that Cummings have is among the women group, in particular, those that are feeding the problem. So we know that Uncle Joe now and his team, they're not moving out there. So they're trying to, I just want you to throw highlight on this. They're trying to confuse the people in the town. Just imagine somebody calling a radio station saying, I'm Mr. Cummings supporter, but yeah, he goes number 2 to Uncle Joe. There's no sense in it. I want you to
Yeah.
address that because we have a lot of people doing this from the UP pretending to be CPP or ANC supporter. Oh, let Mr. Cummings go number 2. And this propaganda, it kind of sinking that John Balu, who is on a mission, is carrying this propaganda at some point because he was on our platform. I tried to go after him, but the time could not permit. We had Sarah who had to calm the situation down. So talk to us about this cause.
Well, we got to do this often. I love the questions. I love the exchange, and you guys are asking the right things. You know, these are the things that makes me happy. I want to go to battle, right? Because these things, I just salivate on this question. By the way, I don't study before coming on these live. These things come natural to me because it comes from inside, right? So it's funny you said that. It's like you're picking my mind. A couple of months ago, I called Lofa County. By the way, my grandfather is the elder servant chief in Lofa County, Falakwe Bono. If no politician goes to Lofa County while talking to him, go ahead and put it out there. I'm a Bundo, actually, from my mom's side. So, a couple of things there. My younger uncle is like, I forgot the traditional, but because the old man is a little frail, so they use him to be able to do stuff and whatever. So he's like kind of practicing that stuff. But anyway, long story short, he said, "Let me ask you." He said, "We hearing here that the people say Cummings won't go with Joseph Boycott. Tell Cummings when I do it." So I said, "Who's saying Cummings going to know Joseph Boycott?" But I found out there were Unity Party people that kept pushing that particular propaganda, intentionally doing it. Look, there is a major political rift when it comes to the former VP and the people in Lofa County. That's why I predicted. Go back to the live video before they had that special election. I said I don't see how the former VP was going to win it because I was hearing stuff and I was interacting with the people in Lofa. Every morning I wake up, I was talking to them. There's nothing I want to answer them. Matter of fact, tonight I got a meeting with people in Lofa there. So they saw that. But those are some of the things that they're doing to further confuse people. Put this kind of propaganda out there and say, oh, Mr. Cummings doing this. Mr. Cummings not going with anybody. And John Balu, those are individuals we just got. These people are not right for the country.
That's right.
These people are the reason why Liberia is the way it is today. Because it's all about the personal interest. Okay? They cannot make the sacrifices, right, for the younger generation. And that's why I say our role is important, speaking to those young people in Liberia to think about themselves. Balu is not going to think about these young people. It's all about how they can cut. They won't be see a man, a dude who can look at his uncle on the wrist and say, I support Mr. Cummings. Nothing personal, family business, whatever. There's no tribalism business. But I think that this is not your time. You know how many heat we've taken family-wise for going contrary and supporting Cummings? It came a point in time, even my mom was not even talking to me, completely blocked my number and stuff. Besides, Joseph Boycott business. But we do this because, we have to be the change that we want for the country. So that's what they were doing. And it's a lazy argument. It is lazy. It is sad. It is disappointing. It speaks a lot about the kind of people, the kind of society, as in the case of Liberia. You understand me? Why is it somebody's call to look at a man who comes from all of those things and represent a different outlook and say that, because I've been here, you need to do this. You see, like what they're calling for now. The man had a chance. We said, listen, y'all go to the CPP primary. Whatever happens, we say, okay, probably not what the people want us to. Whoever wins, we support them. Mr. Cummings said it as well. They did not listen. They refused. They ran away from the CPP. So you come out there when things are not working, you don't have money. I was hearing you guys in the background. The first thing, I hate to be disrespectful to the Unity Party. What Joseph Boycott has is not the Unity Party. We know the true Unity Party. That's not even good 30% of the Unity Party. It's fact. Because there's so much split in that party. The Ellen Johnson Sirleaf group, they're gone. At one point in time, the United People's Party were part of that grand scheme of collaboration that Ellen Johnson went and weeded in the Unity Party. Majority of the people gone. So there are only few opportunists who are stuck in that thing and calling it and using it. It's like, Mr. Cholope goes and he create a business, he put a logo there. I go to the logo, I say, Mr. Cholope, I'm going to use that thing and that's called it that, Cholope and whatever LLC. They're just using the name Unity Party. But what I see is a splinter group of corruption-driven individuals who are thirsty for public office, and they're just there causing unnecessary confusion. Because, look, the Unity Party that we know with the strength will not lose the amount of elections that they've lost post-2017. Have you seen Joseph Boyka record leading that particular party? They've lost almost everything. Everything. They've never won anything. They have lost everything. So, these people have serious issues, and that's why, we need to make sure that, we're countering them if necessary and just saying things as it is.
Well, it's like you also pick my mind.
Let me follow up.
Yeah, follow up. I'll come back here on this too.
Yeah, it's interesting, dude.
Yeah.
The United Party, I'm a strong supporter of Rescue 2.
Yeah.
And I'm campaigning for Rescue 2 to be on our VPTK list. For some reason, I'm strong campaigner. And I know you've been going after Rescue 2 for a while. I don't know. What's your take on my man Rescue 2, the guy that I'm supporting for my uncle to take as his running mate? What's your take on this?
No, it's so easy to go after the so-called rescues do. Here's the thing here. It's nothing personal, right? I stand with values, and I see that individual as as an individual who's been part of the problem in Liberia, right? And it's so easy. It's so easy to expose them. They don't have that kind of broadened horizon to be able to operate in the space. And I think a lot of them, the reason why they've gotten by because there hasn't been anyone to challenge them. And our society is just full of individuals, no disrespect to the people, but our people still have a little way to go, right? So the bare minimum impress certain people. It doesn't impress me. I will call out the truth. You really want to know the truth? I think Henry Costa's a joker. That's how I see it. A complete joker. Absolutely.
This is a guy supporting for the VP.
You know what though? Listen to me. I want Joseph Boyka to pick him. Actually. But you see, let me just spin it the other way. Let me take my little other thing from there and say this, right? And to the Costa and people in the Unity Party. This young man has been there with Joseph Boyka, and they used him to do all they wanted to do. They made him the little propaganda, whatever it is, to do the dirty work from them. Now, when it comes to rewarding him, right, you got to order of a presidential candidate, Now they say that, we want to be part of this thing. So what are you trying to tell us? Are you trying to agree that this man is worthless? That is not fair to him. But you know what, though? If you ask me who the VP will pick, I think he's going to pick, to tell you the truth. But let me say this to you, right? Honestly speaking, this is why they're afraid. This is the reason why you see the Balud and all these other people running down to submit a petition, because as of last week, Henry Costa was locked in to be the vice presidential candidate for Joseph Boyka. It scared all of them. They started a revolt in the Unity Party. Now, it seems that the old man is still not listening, so they're going to play this other game now to force hands and say, you know what? You got to do this. We have to do this. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
But I'm hearing about the Basel program, the Pequena program that will be held sometime out this week or something, or Saturday. I heard that. And then my half Basel sister posted that she's focused on the rescue and no distraction will work. Just about 1 hour ago.
So they got Rescue 3?
Yeah,
Oh.
I think I rescued 3 now. And so, but then what will happen to rescue 4 from my you see me, I'm in Barbados, I'm between Mima, Bon, and Paso. So my
What I
other
said,
Pasos,
yeah, what I said. The people did not focus on the conclusion.
mhm.
In everything, when you're critically thinking, you gotta look at everything. When you start something, there has to there has to be a beginning, and there has to be an end, right? There's something
Right.
called there's something in writing called the end of life thought process, right? And it says that if you're writing something and you want to captivate your audience, right, you have to think about the end. So in thinking about the end, you think about your own life. If something should happen to you and people are celebrating you, whether it is the funeral, whatever it is and stuff, God forbid, and to say that they call people to talk about you, what would you want people to say about you, right? What would you want people to move away with? What would you want to captivate people, right? And this is the same thing I say. You start a propaganda. You say, oh, the man finger, he did this, that, the rest of it. What was the end goal? Was the end goal just to leave the CPP? If that was it, you got out. But that can't be the end goal. Because the intent here was you wanted Joseph Boycott to lead, and all of you who contributed to it felt that you have some kind of, ulterior motive per that particular process. So right now, the end doesn't look good. And everybody in that particular chain will be impacted. This is why you see some of them gradually expressing. And it's not anything that's in hiding. If you looked at it when the news started going around that Costa was going to be the person, chosen, what you saw Unity Party people insulting Costa people insulting them. You saw the young people coming out and saying stuff now. The UA people saying the same thing and stuff. So there was this rift. But you see what I'm saying, though? Mr. Kami's don't have to deal with your drama. He got it out of the way earlier than usual. That conclusion, logically speaking, that conclusion is where we are. And they will have to deal with it. They will have to deal with it.
And like you said earlier on, I'll just lay another premise. You see, the Unity Party itself, from the formation under Dr. Edward Bian Kessley, I think it was a good party. But as we all know, that in Liberia, every political institution is associated with people with means. We saw the Great Trui Party when the hegemony left, the Trui Party died.
Yeah.
Joking, the great NDPL, it died. NPP with Taylor, it died. And so when President Salif wanted to become president, when her chance came, she had been at loggerhead with all of the other parties. She couldn't make her way through the NPP or what other party. So she was looking around, as clever as she is in politics. She said, well, I think I can resuscitate this UP. And knowing that UP comes from or was established in a populated county. So she said, well, I'll take one of their own sons. I mean, tell me, pretty close. Those of you who are related to Joe Walker. After Joe Walker left Joe government and all the, where was he? He was almost nominal. He was nothing. Okay, so to speak, politically. So Ellen said, well, listen, I think I can resuscitate. I can pump some breath in this Unity Party and lift it up. But if I do that, how do I get support? So let me go to Lufa and look for one prominent person. So Joe Walker gets in the picture, walking under the canopy or walking in the shadow of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And this is how he came to prominence. After Madam Sirleaf left, what happened to Unity Party? It was almost dying again. But Mr. Walker wants to hold it up. And the few guys around him want to walk in his shadow. Now, tell me, the Unity Party is not brain drain. They got educated boys, smart young guys. Why is it that they're pushing one man who is practically worn up, fatigue, and all this kind of, why is it that they are practically pushing him? Because, like you said, they want to stay in his shadow. They see when he walk in Ellen's shadow, they want to walk in his shadow as well. So, the United Party has become, when it says Mr. Cummings is desperate, they have become desperate for the fact that they must, at all costs, become, power or whatever. And then they will say that if anybody wants to go to the presidency, he should pass through Mr. Boycott, as if to say Jesus Christ come and say, before you go to the Father, you must pass through me. How can you say before Cummings become president, he must go through Bwaka? I mean, I don't get his message. I don't get it.
So the thing here is, and I keep laughing because this is something that we continue to tell these people about and stuff. So Ellen Johnson's relief after the 20s, you remember they kick her out of the party during the election, right? The disagreement they had.
Already.
And then after everything, when they came back and said, reconciliation time, so they went and called Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and to have a meeting behind closed door and see if they can bring her back on board.
With her people.
The question was you asked here, why did Ellen Johnson Sirleaf not get involved with the Unity Party after all the outrage? Because Ellen Johnson Sirleaf understands one thing, and that's the reason why she has refused to support this old man. And that's what I said, though, that I probably have to get used to not really, mentioning the Unity Party as a whole. But then again, he's carrying the label, so we still say it. What Joseph Boyka has is not the Unity Party. That is what we called, right?
The remnant.
Right. And I call them splinter groups. Splinter groups. Because there's no adult in the room. It's all immature individuals, politically immature, bunch of toddlers, right? Who are there around this woman? Because anybody who's mature, politically mature, you mentioned a couple of the moves that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had to make. She brought mature politicians around her to be able to guide her. Because it's important you made that point, because when Ellen Johnson attempted against Taylor first, she was beaten badly. The numbers that she accumulated was worse. You understand me? So that's a splinter group. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So I say this, and I'll continue to say this. The day Ellen Johnson Sirleaf left that party, the Unity Party died.
He was there.
Yeah.
It was done deal. I don't care what you do. That is not the Unity Party. It's few individuals who have hijacked the Unity Party to turn it into a tribal hub, right? To promote their own individual agenda.
That's right.
And that's why it has not been operable, functional. They have not been productive. They have not yielded any results in any political. It took the same comics they were bashing. It took the leadership of the comics in the CPP for them to even win along with the CPP. What does that say? You understand me? So, that's what's going on. That's why you see all this chaos. I bet you, if adults were in the room, it was not going to happen that you take a man of comics to court. Somebody would have said something. But you have children. Well, you have irresponsible Mo Ali. You have all of these guys who don't even think critically and don't even have the bandwidth to be rational in the thought process. Then you end up playing those mediocre games. And you think it's a child's play. You start ridiculing people that could actually mentor you. You start ridiculing people who can add value to you. You start going after people you have no business going after. So what they have there is not the Unity Party. That's a splinter group of tribalistic individuals who have weaponized a respectable political institution that we've come to know for their own greed. That's what it is.
That's right. It's good that you brought rescue number 3. You call it Lympha.
Yeah.
No. Rescue number 3. And I think the program she want to host in Grand Bassa County is actually meant for the destruction of the CPP, the court case. I want to transition a little bit.
Yeah.
Court case.
That one thing we need to go to.
At the Supreme Court. Yesterday, there was some little hearing, and this court case have favored the CPP. So we Rescue 3 carry out that program because that's what it meant for, that they were going to celebrate because if the case were going to go in their favor, the CPP today is dead and buried. So what's your take on this about Rescue 3?
Yombly, I tried to be a little softer on her because I know them, but I think, again, they all were focused on starting a problem and they did not think through the conclusion. And, Dylan loves to act like he's smart. Dylan is not a smart guy. All right. And this is the honest truth. Dylan thinks he's smart. Dylan is not a smart guy. because smart people don't make those kind of rookie mistake. What do you think? You think that you're just going to go somewhere and just disband something that Cummings hands on? Why can't you learn? You took this man to court. You lost that case. Well, you think that just happened out of the ordinary? You can't fight Alexander Cummings. People like DeLon, you don't have what it takes to fight a Cummings. No, truthfully speaking, we need to be honest with ourselves. You don't have what it takes to fight an Alexander Cummings. So we know how this thing was going to go all along. We know that. That's what I said. They didn't think about the conclusion, and we'll have to live with the conclusion. Joseph Boyka will have to make a decision. Can't take a Yombi Kanga now because she doesn't have Liberty Party. What do you think? They're going to have to deal with it. So that celebration that they said they were going to have, it was just all for formality, because at the end of the day, we're back to where it started before, and at least the Supreme Court actually made its ruling. So now they're back to square one, and I'm sure they're hurt because there's been nothing but quiet from that camp. Maybe they're thinking on where to go next, what to do next, and stuff. But it's not going to happen because they're in the
room. All end up in a unity party game, But you just mentioned the Dillon factor, and I just want to make a little comment, and probably you can take it from there.
Yeah,
see, Dillon was not smart, or maybe he's not smart generally, because how did Dillon become senator just in the space of less than 2 years? You won 2 major elections, resulting from the CPP. And if there was a confusion within the CPP, would you have been the first person to take a side? No, you wouldn't have taken a side. I wouldn't have done it, because I know it was through this entity or this group that made me what I am. And if anything happened, I would have stopped, because if right now the CPP is broken down, what if you're going to have election like tomorrow? What would have happened to him? Can he ask? Can he explain? So, you are right when you say he was not smart, or he's not smart.
No, but he's not smart. And it's not insulting. It's the fact. There are people who live with this pretense as if they have this intellectual strength. And sadly, because of the kind of society we live in Liberia, we have gullible people who fall for some of those things.
For anything.
If you're smart, you don't make the kind of rookie mistakes that you make. If you're smart, you don't lie about a ticket that you bought, right? And then later on come and confess, right? It's not smart. Because they were not thinking this thing through. They thought it was just all about Cummings, but they did not weigh in on the process in its entirety. And that's where they are now, and they have to deal with that particular thing. Also, let me say this, respectfully speaking. This thing about Darius Dillon being behind Joseph Boyka, he did that Monserrato. Dillon did not win Monserrato. Let's get that straight, right? It was a combination of several factors that created the kind of result in Monserrato. And Mr. Cummings' leadership, Mr. Cummings poured a lot of resources into them. Joseph Boyka didn't do that. He didn't. Along with individuals who were able to use grassroots and connections to make him the success. Because if Dillon could have done it, he would have won Monserrato the last time he tried. You understand me? So he didn't. And people need to be very careful what they're saying about that. Dillon didn't win Monserrato. Okay? You had a Cummings. Mind you, people forget. But Cummings actually won the Liberty Party in Monserrato in the 2017 election. Yeah, Cummings had more votes than the Liberty Party. You see what I'm saying? So you think about that, though. You think about that. For all the people who talk and stuff, Monserrato, the fingerprints, the political prints, the strategic prints of Mr. Cummings was all over Monserrato. So it's not a Dillon win. Going to Grand Bassa County, it would be nice, something young and this, that. Yeah, we gave her what to do and stuff. But remember this, because we'll come back to it again. You see how Joseph Boyka had this kind of dominant showing in Lofa County. And we said it's going to diminish. And we saw that in the last election. Yombi had a strong showing in Grand Bassa County. But if it was not because the extra trip Mr. Cummings made there and the additional resources he poured in there, she went almost neck to neck with Boyka Finley in Grand Bassa County. So what is the thought process there? That tells us right there and then, even though she's there and yet political strong, but there's still a challenge when it comes to Grand Bassa that anyways, strategically, you go and pick in, Grand Bassa automatically becomes a competitive area. Cummings can be competitive in Grand Bassa County because Yombi does not have a dominant majority of Grand Bassa County, strategically speaking. And that's all facts. We're not lying with saying that. Right? The same way. So they didn't think this thing through. And that's where they are. But you know what? That a business. We're here. We went to our own hassle because of what they did. Let them go ahead and figure that out, and we're going to focus on our campaign and do what we can to make sure that we have Mr. Cummings in the kind of position we want him to be in.
That's right. That's right. Wow, this is interesting. It's interesting the way things are happening, man. It is interesting. And the thing is, I think what this particular group are trying to do, they're trying to divert the focus from the ruling establishment.
Yeah.
But I think they're doing it on purpose. My old man, I don't think he's gonna run. So if I'm gonna walk out of the race, this is what I intend to do to stop Mr. Cummings. Maybe that's the intent, because I don't see the reason why he got 3 persons to pick from and waiting for that noise. And if he does not pick,
it is intended to stop Mr. Cummings. So then what does it profit him? And he will not run.
Yeah, but the thing is, you think on it, because remember, Rescue Tool said we're working with the government.
With the government, yeah, of course.
Yes. So
he did.
So
he did.
You look at it, yeah.
The man made a huge mistake. You know what kind of photo ops you put there when you walked to a court with a Serena Cephas, who is the face of the government witch hunt against this man?
Yeah.
That's what I said. There's no adults in the room. You validated the government. Mind you, you're the same people that are saying the government creating all these atrocities. But suddenly you show some faith in the judicial system.
Yeah.
Because it was not about the truth. It was only about your political interest, and whatever it took at the expense of whoever, you didn't care. The idea, you have to do that.
Yeah.
So it tells me of the judgment of the former VP, and that's what we've been saying all along. They made an error. They went to the courts and they did all that kind of rubbish over there and stuff. Look where we are. So these people have some serious problem. They need to just stay in the corner and focus on their support system and just leave the ANC alone. Let's go into election. We're barely 6 months away. We are focused on that part. There's no Cummings boycott ticket. Let the Liberian people decide, and we'll live with the consequences. But I do know, though.
Yeah. Wow.
Really enjoying you guys there. He made a valid comment. And what he said is that, oh man, I'm losing my train of thought here. Well, okay, yes. But Liberians, voters, that's what I said. I look at people, I say, ain't no Liberians. Liberians have always been protected of their votes or who they're going to vote for. They'll tell you my vote, my secret.
Yes.
That silent majority. Those silent people are the ones that you need to watch out for, because when they go in the polling station, it's going to be different. And you know what, though? The mature voters will make a decision. That's what you have to watch out for. Will mature voters vote for Joseph Boyka? I know for a fact.
And Duke, you're right, because those people's salary that they decide to homonize, they call it to cut their salary from 600 to 300 to 250.
Yeah.
And imagine you sending your child to JJ Rivals and you cannot afford to pay school fee anymore. You just there to survive. Those are the people that will punish this government. And those are the people that are looking at having better jobs tomorrow. And those are the silent voters on the ground. If you speak to them, this is where you pick up. But the noise maker keep going about, oh, we want the opposition unity and this, that unity party. That was it. They got it because they work with the government.
Yeah.
They want to blow Mr. Cummings' chances. And that's the whole intent. It's not for them winning. So we have to look at it from that angle.
Okay. Just before we leave, the time is fast, we got less than 10 minutes. But quickly do. Here, I have this simple question. The chances of the CPP, ANC, winning in this election, how big is it? Without or with opposition unity? But we rule out opposition unity. Now, we may have 3 candidates, 4 runners or front runners. The ruling party, the CPP, and the Unity Party. Now, among the 3, pick one. Comparing the position of the CPP right now.
So yes, what I would say, I've always been confident in Mr. Cummings' ability to win an election in Liberia. And this is not a political response, but it's a thorough response, right? It's not going to be a cakewalk for any political party. But people who think that Joseph Boakai got popularity so he can do this are people that are not critically thinking, right? Let's go back to the facts. The man is a popular politician, a popular individual, but he has lost the most election for his political party. A popular politician don't lose election for people running on his ticket. A popular politician at one of the most pivotal elections, special election in Lo-Fi County, don't lose it. You understand me? So it is just, I think it's one of those things that are used, propaganda that's used to kind of scare people. But the facts are pointing that there's been this diminished goods over time. And 2017 is an outlier because the incumbent political party, the people that still have this law for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and so you still have that. But I think Mr. Cummings, I believe Mr. Cummings is going to be able to win. And guess what I'm looking at? If you look at all the political parties in that country, let's go at the opposition end. Mr. Cummings has been the only politician since 2017 that's constantly been in the trenches working. I don't care what you say about the ANC. That particular effort he made is going to pay some huge dividends for him, right? The Unity Party does not have structures in other counties.
Yeah.
You understand me? They depend on the name Joseph Boakai, and they want to say, foolishly that, oh, that's the name. No, politics is not just all the name. Ellen Johnson had a name against Charles Taylor, but he was a different person. You understand me? So it takes more than that, right? But if we really go and simplify things and look at each of those things from different angles, we start looking at, let's look at Montserrat County. Mr. Cummings can win Montserrat County. No doubt he can win Montserrat County. Why? He beat the Liberty Party. You've got the Liberty Party in your support now. That makes it competitive. Joseph Boakai is not going to be that competitive in Montserrat County like he used to be as well. I know that because I know from that. The ANC's got more people in terms of database than it had in 2017. So I think there's going to be this kind of incline in terms of the support base there. Go to Nimba. Nimba is so much of an open space right now. People overlook that. Nimba is just an open playing field. You understand me? So he's going to pick up votes there, right? You go in Lo-Fi County, Joseph Boakai is not going to have the opportunity to widen the margin in Lo-Fi County and be very, I would say, right, CDC's done a great job in Lo-Fi County. Nora's done a great job. Thomas Fala's done a great job. If you take chiefs that never been beyond the borders of Liberia and take them to Ghana, I was there live. I was paying attention live when taking those chiefs to Ghana, so I should have done the homework. But Mr. Cummings is going to make some gains. That's going to get him over the hump, right? And that's why I feel so confident about it. I don't think that the whole thing about the Joseph Boakai, I just think it's just that name thing that people just try to push. They're not doing the work and they have the expectation. But I think he's doing more of the work that's going to be able to. And another thing that we're overlooking before we go, I know we'll have only a few more minutes here, the diaspora factor. There hasn't been any election that I've seen the influx of diaspora Liberians that have gone back to either register or be part of the process than I've seen it in recent months and recent days. That tells me that's going to be a huge factor because those people have family members, they have connections, they have schoolmates and stuff. And just because of the presence, one person can bring on 5 person, the 5 person that the brother can bring another 5 person, so there's a change. So I think that Mr. Cummings is playing this game in the right way. And I think the work that he's doing, along with the efforts that he's receiving from people from the diaspora on the ground and all of those things, going to be the difference maker, the deciding factor in terms of the general election.
And just to cement what you said, there was a special reason in my mind for which I asked you that question. Because let's look at the ruling party. The ruling party have already voted against itself by bad governance, unaccounted for killings, missing money, cutting people's salary, the very people who supposed to be working for the government to love the government, they are the one protesting against the government every day. So the government itself has voted against itself. That is a showcase. But I was not asking that questions to let the Liberian people know, those of them who believe that this government can still win election after suffering all the people all these years. They will not.
Yeah.
And again, when you look at the United Party factor, where the United Party is now working, they're sitting down waiting for name brand. Like, oh, okay, me, I can drink club beer. So whether they bring Google beer anytime, say, no, I want a club beer. When club beer goes short, you can drink. So that's the reason why I asked the question. Because I know the government has already decided its own case, but let the Liberian people know why Mr. Cummings is the best choice. And that's why I asked the question.
And let me chime into that question too. The thing is, it's like a football tournament, right? You have one small team that is just there. They know they're not going to win the tournament. They're just there to injure your players. And then when it comes to the final, this is what they're doing. You see, my Uncle Joe said something. Love Liberia, think Liberia, and build Liberia.
Liberia,
This is the time. If you love Liberia, he doesn't have the energy, the strength, the money. This is the time that I'll beg my Uncle Joe to love Liberia, think Liberia, and let Mr. Cummings build Liberia for the children that will leave him behind us. This is where the love comes in. And I can tell you for a fact, when he said today that I'm going into retirement, there is a clear-cut landslide for Mr. Cummings.
Oh, yeah.
That is the thing on the ground. He is the spoiler. And he knows he won't win. That's why, and I'm saying because he don't want to say it, so let him pick Rescue 2. The moment he pick Rescue 2, you know, when you're playing football, they get this guy who can just eat people, boom. That's Rescue 2. That people will get vexed with him so much, they don't want to be a teammate anymore. So yeah, he picked Rescue 2, but the old man need to do this most sensible thing. They call him a wise man. This is the time that he put the country first. He served 12 years as VP. He served 11 years as minister. He served as captain. All the good things he did for our country. But at the age now, where everybody looking at artificial intelligence, AI, the level of which things are going, we can't be going back in the past. Duke in the States, Barack Obama came with energy. Joe Biden came back with war. Look at what's happening. You can't be going back in the past. We're moving. The train is moving far ahead. So the old man just need to do the most sensible thing to say, look, for the sake of my country, Taiwan, Cummings, George, we are your battle aid. The best person come out. This is how you love your country. And that's why I'm asking, he just need to look at the whole thing. Forget about Rescue 1, Rescue 2, Rescue 3, and then let everybody do the best thing. I want to make a quick announcement for those of you who following up for the first time. Kindly click on our like button. When it comes on, you'll be notified. We also on the online radio. We have a Bottom Line app that you can even download. Our radio is 24/7. We're on MyTuning. We're on YouTube as well. We're all over the place. Follow us, and we are strong supporter of Mr. Alexander Cummings' presidency. He is the best that we have now. To our viewer, call your people home, talk to them. If we miss this chance, some of us, we will not see that dream, the Liberia we saw when we were kids, we won't see it anytime soon. So, Duke, I think it's good having you here, and this should be your house, man.
No, absolutely. And sorry about the delays. There's just too much thing going on.
No, we understand. We understand.
Yeah, I'm thankful I was still able to put it there. Usually I want to come prepared and everything and stuff, but we still improvise. That's the beauty about it. You got to be able to adjust in life as well there. So, but thanks, to you guys. This is a great platform, and I hope people continue to share the video afterwards, watch the show. If people are not on here watching, share the link. Let people listen to these discussions here, because it's going to help educate somebody, right? There as well. I haven't been able to come on live so often the past couple of months because I've been, dealing with some other stuff. But thankfully, we're able to do this here, and I think this is the right time. We'll continue to say this. But just for my parting comments here, I would like to say this to every Liberian. Look, some of you have your political ties. I get that, but I want us to put the politics away and think about Liberia in a nutshell. We have a unique opportunity to rewrite the history of that country, to change the trajectory of that country, right? And what do I mean in the layman term? For several years, we have seen a decline in terms of economy. We've seen the decline in terms of young people and everything. These young people go to school, they graduate from universities. There's no job, right? And government to this day still remains the highest employer in that country. What that tells me from an economic standpoint is that the private sector is not working. This is your value addition and the reason why to vote Mr. Cummings. We can change Liberia's economy around and make that country functional again by giving Mr. Cummings an opportunity to lay out the foundation and create the economic flexibilities that we need to drive results. We need jobs in the private sector. It can be done by whom? By Alexander Cummings, because this is what he does. He has been successful on the global stage working in the private sector. And I always say this man comes from an experience in the private sector that has to do with poor economics, meaning that those countries that mirror the economies like Liberia on the African continent, he has worked there and he has been successful in terms of the cooperation in those spaces. So that means he understands the intricacies of poor economics, right? How can you sell a product to everybody in that economy, the poor man, the middle income man, the wealthy man, right? But it still needs everybody satisfied. This is what we need. We need somebody who understands how to drive private sector success. And that's what we're appealing to people about. Let's put aside our political differences and our obsession with tribalism and political parties and think about Liberia, because we have actually done wrong to that country. And we can make it right again by putting all of the things aside and just focusing on what's important. If healthcare is important to you, Mr. Cummings is the guy. Education, Mr. Cummings is the guy. You need jobs, education, Mr. Cummings is your guy. Because I believe that his approach is something like we've never seen before. Mr. Cummings will bring in a short-term economic plan. He will bring in a long-term economic plan, a medium-term economic plan, and he will bring in a long-term economic plan. So it's but what a plan, what a thing. Look, in the short term, Mr. Cummings said this. Liberia is not this society that's been blessed with 5-star hotels and infrastructure, but we've been naturally blessed to the point where we have those natural landscapes that we can take advantage. So in the short term, by paying attention to your natural habitat, you can drive results. You can actually create jobs in this area. Ecotourism is one of those areas. In the medium term, you can start looking at those short-term structures that you can lay out to be able to build your economy. And in the long term, you can create business wealth for small business owners. And this is why I say he will bring in financial sector reform lastly, because Mr. Cummings will understand that those who have been selling businesses need to be wealthy. He has a plan for wealthy business owners. The poor people will have a plan in the financial sector, and the medium income people will also have a plan. We only have one fixed option in our banking system, meaning that when a man goes inside, he make a lot of money. He still puts that money into a fixed option in banking. That's wrong, because when inflation kicks in, he's losing value. But you can turn more people millionaires when you have variable options in our financial system that allows them to grow their wealth. This is the unique opportunity that we have in that country, and I want our people to take advantage of it. So, gentlemen, I want to say thank you to the Bottom Line for actually helping us today. Putting me on here. I appreciate it. I really enjoyed the conversation. We'll do this so often, and I can't wait till we're back on here again and hopefully talking about things in depth as well. And, we don't have to stay here, but, hopefully, in the upcoming weeks, we'll come with a different perspective, and we can be able to tell people based upon, what we see and how we can go about things there as well. But I want to say I appreciate all of you, and thank you all for the opportunity today.
It was great.
Thank you, Duke. It's
You're
your
welcome.
home. We always here. Yeah.
Always, man. Always.
Yes,
You
yes.
guys are doing great.
Yeah.
All right. People, just share the link, please. And, the Bottom Line will be back again.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Have a blessed evening. Yeah.
Okay. Just to close up on what Duke said, I normally hear people say, "Oh, Coca-Cola was a set of stuff before Cummins went there." Okay, yes, I agree. If Coca-Cola was a set of stuff and Cummins went there, and you people believe that this man is not capable, why didn't he break it down? Because it's possible that if Paul got a good business running and he put me there and I'm not qualified, I can run this business. I can break it down, right? We have
That's
seen
right.
several businesses break down. So, that's a very poor analysis and poor excuse. But Paul, I think it was a good show, and we did it. And like we said, it was going to be a special show, a special edition of the show, and I think it was very special. What do you think?
I think it was great. It was a special show. It's good having Duke here. He's firing, and we need to have more conversation on this with a lot of people coming as we getting closer to the election now. I mean, bottom line will have to do more than 2 days a week. We'll have to go probably 3, 4 days a week, because this is the time that we encourage our people. And at some point, when we hit the airwave in Liberia too, this will make it much better. And we're asking our audience that been with us, share the show. We're going to make the case.
This
Yes.
is Nancy Ruth Anderson missed the show, but I think you got a gist of it. And Roberta Brown Cooper, we want to say welcome to you. Marilla Mo, she's always here. And Miata Takina, I mean, my Bonkante sister, she inspires me so much. And so we want to say thank you to all of you who watched the show tonight, and you can share the video right after here. And let's keep the show going, because this is no, let me tell you. I remember during the wartime, Taylor said something, and I still remember. He said, "Don't let the question be asked, where were you during the great people's uprising, and what did you do?" Those are questions that we'll be answering to our children. Papa, Mama, where were you the time all the bad things were happening in Liberia? You won't talk so, or when I was small, my grandmother used to tell me about the Second World War, So then, and she told me, said they will run away and go in the bush. I said, but why don't go there to fight? I know about war. She said, hey, we will go fight. So, that's it. The same way your children will be asking you when you heard all the bad thing happening, why you didn't do something about it. So don't let that question be asked and you cannot say anything. This is what you can do. Share the video, talk to your friends, and just about it. That's enough of work to do as your contribution to Liberia. Thank you so much for being here. And Paul, I think you can take us home with anything you want to take us home with. I'm satisfied. The show was great. And I am so thankful that Duke was able to make it, because from the start, he has some real hitches, and he had to do something faster. But he promised me that I will come, and I said, well, the show will go on. So thanks a lot, Paul, also, because Paul, we'll be traveling tomorrow. By the way, are you going tomorrow?
Yes, I'll be leaving from here. We'll be in Stockholm on this
by
week.
This time tomorrow.
We'll be in Stockholm. Oh, it's today on your side. Tomorrow.
Yeah, today 30 minutes.
The ANC Europe will be gathering in Stockholm tomorrow, and we'll be having some function over there on Saturday. So Stockholm, we are coming. Watch out. It'll be interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing the guys in Stockholm.
We'll
Sweden.
see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. And I just want to play a little clip of this, the thing that we're going to do. Mr. Cummings meant to be with us, but some emergency came out, so he can't make it, but it has been postponed to June. So I just want to show a little bit. It's just 1 minute play of some of the things that we're going to do when Mr. Cummings come over in June. So just watch it before we close the show. You can bear with me just a few minutes.
No problem. We're having a breakfast here, right here in Hanover. Just starting now. We got a family of ANC here. All the members are here. We want to start having breakfast. The boss himself is here. These are the delegation from Holland. The guy Wida is here. Wida, say hi to us. Yeah, Wida, what's your name again? The lady on the right. May is here from Holland. That's Nicholas Doe. No relation to Samuel Doe. No. That's they all came from Holland to be part of this event. We will have our sister. You got it, but
I said you want to do it homework too.
The boss himself is helping himself in the morning. Nobody helps him, so he helps himself. So you see a live right here in Hanover, guys. Come and join wherever you are. We're having the event going on tonight. Everything is going to happen tonight. So join us.
You see, this is Mr. Cummings, cool, do his own thing, very humble person, walk around, people ran into him and all that. And this is the kind of person we're looking at. He's not proud person. He sat with us, we're eating dry rice with Liberian women can cook. I give it to our sister and our mother, they can cook. It was great. So
I know, right?
it's something that will look, and he will be with us in June. So we will be in Stockholm this weekend,
Tomorrow.
making a preparation for his coming it will be his last trip before the election. So we're looking forward to people in Europe and other, but they will post the information later. So follow us. We might go live from Stockholm when we are there as well. So just watch us. Follow us, share our show, like our page. When we come on, you'll be notified. So, Linford, I want to
before we go, we see Brother Franklin Roosevelt, not a former American president. So, in that day, talking there. Okay, Franklin say they will get to also secure a time on Radio Bunk, and then to speak to the people ahead of the photo registration there, and I think that would be very important. And Franklin, whenever you're ready, you know how to get to me, and then I'll pass the message to the rest of the team. And on this particular event, when you guys are ready, I'll talk to my sister Miata Dakina. Miata is going to be part of that because Miata is from Bonn, and she's going to be Miata. Get to me later on. Not tonight. Past 12 o'clock, you call me on that. I'll not take it for I come in go sleep. I'm driving 8 hours tomorrow from Norway to Sweden. So when you do Miata, get in contact with me. When Franklin and I arrange this thing, then you'll be part of it. You will be spearheading that particular part of it.
And this is what Miata says. She want to come on and speak better. So Miata will need to have on the show.
Yeah, I'll inform you, Miata. Okay. Oh, the message is for Miata. Okay, yeah. But then, but Franklin is the same. Once you get to Miata, Miata can come, can give a platform to Miata. Miata will do the wire. I know no BD. So that's it, folks. And Paul, take us home. And we'll see in Stockholm tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'll take us home with the number one hit from the University of Liberia students. Sue, they made a music for our president. And this music is to tell him that, well, he came, he's one of the best booker dancers we have around. This time, Liberia needs serious-minded people. We are carrying Mr. Cummings. He's going to win this election, and we'll have a new president come 2024. And I'm going to go to Liberia. We'll be in the trenches to encourage people. And I will come back and get my roche coat. We're going for that inauguration. Come 2024, we'll have Mr. Cummings as the new leader. So to our audience, thank you for being with us. I'll leave you with a beautiful number one hit.